It's a good question. I could hum.
Sing, I think that would be good.
No,
Good.
but I'll let Bill sing.
Now, Bill's got a good voice,
He's
actually.
probably a good singer.
Yeah.
You want me to sing Our House? Is that what you want me
Yeah.
to do?
Yeah, go ahead, sing it.
I'll probably pass on that since it's I need a little bit of background.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. But he does have a good voice,
Thank
as
you, darling.
listeners have already experienced. Before we get going, I want to just announce that a city thing. That the street sweeping, they've completed all the major streets, and now they're going to be starting on local streets for street sweeping.
I saw a street sweeper. I was almost in shock the other day.
Yep, I saw two. I passed one on West Avenue, and while I was sitting in my office, I saw one go by on Michigan.
Well, kudos to the city manager then, right?
Right.
Who's responsible for it?
Right, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Who's the city manager?
Well, the street sweepers used to be out all the time.
Well, hopefully you'll see them a lot more this
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
Yeah,
We need it bad.
we do.
Yeah,
we do.
indeed.
It's ugly.
But you know, the economy's improved, our taxable value went up a little bit, and income taxes up, so I think there's a little bit more revenue than we've had in the past.
To clean the streets.
Well, to,
Among other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a finite amount of revenue and you allocate it to those things which are the most important. And you also have to deal with legacy costs, as part of your budget, et cetera. So, I don't relish, I can't believe so many people want the position of mayor in this town, by the way, Greg. My wife included, it's difficult. People who are not, whether they're on non-city council or not trying to manage a municipal budget, I'm amazed at how people can attack, whether it's the city council person or the mayor or the city manager or anybody else, without really knowing everything that's going on.
It's
and
quite
the
complicated.
financial difficulties.
It's very simple to attack.
I know it is, but
Yeah.
but to do it in a fashion to do it in a constructive fashion as opposed to a destructive fashion,
Well,
it seems to me. If you don't like what's being done, then have some constructive ideas about it and understand that you have finite resources with which to work. That's the difficulty. Anyway, I don't mean to go off on a rant.
and I like
here.
the ones who want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
What's that mean?
Well, just get rid of everybody who's on council because they don't believe whatever their agenda was accomplished. And, it takes you 3 years if you've never been in that situation before just to understand what you're doing. So I don't even know how anybody could even sit as mayor without having some background. But it's a challenging role,
Sure.
but a very important one. It's not a game by any stretch of the imagination. So,
I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
Yeah,
All right.
you
What
did.
do you want to talk about today?
I thought it might be interesting to talk about zoning in light of the club that is trying to go in out in Summit Township.
Oh. Okay.
I got an
Oh.
email. I'm a member of some LinkedIn group. I can't remember the name of it, but it has the word professionals in it. And one of the questions was I think they were having a meeting last night about this particular club
Who was?
going in. Some group of people.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really read it. But anyhow, so I don't know what the zoning is in that.
What's going in it? What's going in it?
There's it used to be I remember it as a landscape. What was it?
What's being proposed?
Swingers Club.
Okay, so now I don't get it. All right? Why? I mean, if you want to do that's fine. I mean, so you put monkey bars in, you put these zip lines, etc.
Whatever.
Swinging really seems to me, if you're into gymnastics and stuff like that, sure, go ahead and do it. But it just doesn't seem like there's that much business for that kind of.
Yeah,
Well, I
have much of a clientele
Swingers
for that.
Landscaping, that's what I remember.
Right.
Yeah. So am I right on the swingers club?
And then there was
Monkey bars and stuff?
You're a little off.
and then there wasn't there
They
a,
could have monkey bars though. That's a possibility.
wasn't there a lighting store in there also?
Was there a light?
Yeah, I think after it was By Swingers, it was a lighting store.
By swingers. What?
Oh, how perfect, right?
Is that what you said?
Lawn and landscape
By
Lawn,
swingers.
By Swingers Lawn and
for a long
Landscape.
time.
Was it going to be just a swingers club or is it going to be a by swingers club? That's what I want to know. What's being proposed out in Summit Township?
Bill, Be
Bill,
careful.
you were,
Don't twist
you're quite
words here
the
on this
comedian,
show.
aren't you?
Oh, all right, so what do you want to talk about?
It's already been addressed here. So.
Oh, a swingers club in Summit Township. That's,
Well,
that's an
But
oxymoron.
so why do they need a conditional use? That's what I mean, if it's zoned properly, why do they need a conditional use?
Because it's a use which has a moral
Because-
or morality connotation.
Right.
Oh, is that what it's about? I don't know.
There's some,
I've just heard on the radio.
there might be some ethical questions.
Yeah, well, the government has the right to regulate, the state government has the right to regulate health, welfare, safety, and the morals of its citizens. Those are the powers reserved to the states, the police power. And so you can make uses within a particular district. This is zoned residential or ag or whatever it may be, and you provide for special use permits. We're doing the same thing up in Tawas City at our cottage, which is zoned waterfront. In order to do the cottage we're talking about up there, we have to get a special land use permit.
In order to do a cottage.
In order to do a cottage, because residential is permitted within a waterfront district, but only as a special land use, and so.
And why is that? Because you're on waterfront, why wouldn't they allow a cottage? I mean, why, there's
Because-
houses all
No,
along the
the
street.
waterfront district is designed to allow for parks for public use. The water,
Okay.
there's only so much waterfront, and so one of the public versus private issues is, should we allow private citizens to monopolize
And
lakefront
has it
through
always
residences?
been that way since you've owned the property
no,
for
that wasn't-
100 years?
No, since we've owned that property in the early 50s, it was originally zoned commercial, it was never zoned residential. That
Oh,
was a
okay.
commercial property, and the residential use isn't even permitted within the commercial district. The only reason that cottage exists is because it was grandfathered in when the zoning ordinance was adopted, probably in the 60s.
So in this case, there's a building that, and it's been vacant for
Quite a while.
a long time.
Quite a
And
while.
I know if it were sitting in the city, I think the vacancy may just have an issue right there. But,
Well, that would be non-conforming use, that's different. When it's vacant for an extended period of time under an ordinance, you lose the right to continue a non-conforming use. That was a use that predated the zoning ordinance.
Couldn't this be non-conforming?
No, as my
There would
understanding is.
be a liquor license attached to it.
Yeah, but that's not, I don't think they're looking for, it's not a non-conforming use, they're looking for a special land use permit, as I understand it. Again, I'm only on the outside
Right.
here looking in, I'm not sure, but that requires going in, and under special land use permit, you have to meet certain conditions. For example, the best one in this type of use, where alcohol, et cetera, is involved, are limitations in terms of hours, limitations in terms of noise, limitations in terms of lighting, things that won't disturb the other neighbors within a residential district. That's what a special land use permit is intended for. Because a municipality cannot zone out a particular use. It must provide within its boundaries a place for all kinds of permissible uses. You know, houses of prostitution not permissible. Apparently, swingers club is a permissible use under whatever state statutes exist. So, assuming that it is a permissible use and not a violation of, and not a criminal activity, my assumption is that the municipality, in this case Summit Township, has to allow it somewhere. They have to allow it though, or if they're going to allow it, they can allow it as a special land use. Again, these are legal issues. These are the types of things that lawyers get involved in, and I've been
Right.
doing for 40-some
I'm
years.
sure there are going to be plenty of lawyers involved in this one.
Thank goodness.
so so every municipality must allow for a strip joint then, for example?
If the use is a permissible use, is not violative of any state criminal statute or other statute, I guess, then a municipality must provide for the use somewhere within its boundaries, so long as it is capable of handling that use. For example, if the municipality does not have an adequate sewer system, and there's no ability to discharge effluent in another acceptable manner to the DEQ and to the feds, then a use that would put effluent into the system, which it can't handle, then that use can be prohibited. That's the best example I can think of right now.
Obviously, the wicket here is, you've got a church almost right across the street, you know?
Well, the closest church is down the street. I don't even know that it's within,
You've got Lumen Christi High School.
well, that's
Right
gotta
down
be
the
a
street.
half a mile maybe? I mean, this is really, it's on the corner
Yeah,
of
but
60
that's
and
liquor license. That doesn't have to do
Springer-
with
Springer Road.
the use which doesn't involve liquor. Again, you gotta separate out here. The liquor license isn't gonna be permitted within so many feet of a church or a school,
Right,
things
which is,
like
I
that.
think, 300 feet.
Okay, but I don't think the use as a swingers club, I know of no regulatory authority or regulation that says that particular use can't be. I mean, if the church wants to rent out its facility on a weekend, a Saturday night to a swingers club, there's probably no prohibition against that, again, absent any sort of state statute or criminal statute. I don't know, I didn't.
This
seems
is
like-
right next to, I think there's a veterinary, right next door to this. And then there's there's a single-family house next door to that was sold and is going to be, I
It's
believe.
torn down.
Torn down,
It's
and
gone.
I think some CPAs are building there.
I mean, what would, apart from the legal niceties here, the thing that would sort of militate against a swingers club in Summit Township is those people who are opposed to it, their right of free speech says that they can stand out in the public way or wherever they want to be and take photos of people who are going into the club and exiting
Right.
the club.
And that's been done here.
Yeah, and so, how do you own and operate and manage something like that out
Such
in
a
Summit
controversial
Township?
topic?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a marketing exec or anything like that. So maybe there's a huge demand. You know what? Now that I think about it, the people I know in Summit Township, there's probably a huge demand for that club out here.
Well, I don't,
Okay, to all my Summit Township friends, I
by any
apologize.
stretch, that wouldn't have to be limited to Summit Township.
You mean they'll actually bring people in from out?
I believe it
Out
would
town.
Well,
be
it's
limited to the United States
It's
of
on a
America.
highway, so it's easy to get to, right?
Easy access
Yeah,
from
easy.
all major
Oh, wait a
highways.
second, don't use the term easy on, easy off. That's, I don't like that one.
You
This
said it,
used
I
to be a
didn't.
family-friendly show,
Yeah.
right? Until Bill got on here. I don't know. Well, I'm just glad we're not dealing with that as a city.
But the city did, God, what was that, 10 years ago?
I don't know.
With the, one of the strip clubs downtown. Remember, it was the old, they called it the schoolhouse.
No.
I remember that, yeah, I remember
Yes.
something about that, the school.
You
the
had,
school.
you had all kinds of people out there taking pictures of,
Oh, yeah, I don't
Whoever-
know.
yeah.
That was before my time
that was
here.
before your time on the council.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, we were at that time living here, and
Yeah.
I remember the controversy
It's
about
quite a-
And
that.
strip clubs
It
are
went
now
national.
Yeah, whatever happened
Did it
to
really?
that?
It eventually,
Just,
disappeared.
yeah.
okay.
And
business.
our strip clubs are in industrial zone.
Because they're industrial strength or something?
Well, I mean, unless it's, I mean, obviously there's a facility downtown that
Wait, you gonna give some
we hear-
advertising to it? Are you? Yeah, this
We
show's
have
gonna-
complaints about it justifiably. I mean, it's not the greatest location for a use, it's not the greatest use of a downtown building, but, what are you gonna do?
Greg and
Been
I are sitting
there
here
forever?
wondering,
The dance
why
hall.
not? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do they do, ballroom dancing in there? Never been in there.
I'm
have
at a
you?
loss. Huh?
I've never been in there.
No.
You ever been in there?
No.
Yeah, nor have I. Yeah, so I only
Nor
hear,
have
I only
I.
hear rumors.
Oh my God.
We only see the people
Did you know
going in
your
and out
show
as
is
we're
gonna
having-
deteriorate this
we
morning?
only see
I
people going
can't get
in
any
and
worse
out.
than it was earlier.
As we're
What,
at
really?
Bella Nota.
No,
Yeah, when we're having dinner at Bella Nota, people walking in and out, you can see the crowd.
Well,
So, anyway, so you want to jump back to the special use and what it takes and that sort of thing? Why?
Sure.
And
why is it taken as a special use condition?
yeah, if you look at it,
Conditional use permit.
yeah, you got to remember that. I mean,
to me, now, it sounds like the county was pretty much unaware, or not.
The township.
The township was unaware of what's going in. Somebody found out what's going in. People were protesting. People showed up at the township meeting.
okay.
And then there was some meeting, I think, last night by,
And
I
now
don't know who.
they're trying to kind of backtrack to get a conditional use permit, so they can, wouldn't that allow them to find out more about the business?
Yeah, and that's a major reason for it. You know,
Yeah.
I've been involved in conditional land use permits on a number of occasions. The most difficult one was when my client was opening a sand and gravel operation within a township, and that is clearly a conditional use. You have to go to the township, apply for it, and then you have to meet all of the requirements, again, hours, dust, those sorts of things. And whoever is the owner slash operator of the club, and also is the landowner, because I don't know if they're gonna own the land or whether they're gonna lease it. In either event, the owner and whoever is the operator would have, I can't imagine that they didn't investigate initially before even proposing a club at this location, whether or not the zoning ordinance permitted this use within that zoning district, and had, assuming that they looked at the zoning ordinance.
I mean, you would have to,
You'd have, I mean, but there are people who don't, but I assume.
but you're sinking a lot of money into the rebuild.
Yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah,
thought it was
that's,
permitted, or the
yeah, but
zoning
that's
was
not the
correct.
criterion for actually checking. I mean, if you are a reasonably sophisticated business person and you're gonna open this kind of operation, the assumption is that you know enough to check the zoning. And if you're entering into a lease, the owner and the lessee will double check the zoning to make sure it's permissible.
Sure.
So-
Although, didn't you just talk to somebody who, they didn't
Didn't do environmental.
do environmental, and it clearly had a gas station on the property
Happens
before?
all the
I mean,
time, happens with
When you talk
zoning
about
too,
common
Greg.
sense, it's sometimes people are just, too frugal.
Yeah, but this is common sense.
Well,
I mean, you
so
have
is
to
if
find
there's a
out how
gas
you're
station on the
zoned.
property.
And this is uncommon common sense
Well,
in
right.
some respects. But no, lots of people purchase property without checking the zoning, and a lot of people.
That are gonna start a business?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Particularly home, in a residential area, somebody buys a home, they
And
start a
one that
home
might
business.
be
And how
reasonably
do you know-
controversial?
Yeah, I can't imagine that they
I
would check,
yeah.
okay?
You
And
just
so,
can't fathom that.
so checking, now, one of the problems may have been that the zoning ordinance didn't anticipate a quote swingers club. In other words.
Well, I understand
It's a
that.
zoning ordinance,
Yeah.
so maybe there was nothing in the zoning ordinance, I don't know, I mean, again,
What-
I'm on the outside.
I'm sure the
looking at it.
last thing the township thought, that there was
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and some
a
township
club or
law
anything,
places.
even with a liquor license going in there.
Well, that's probably true. Because it's a big,
And
that's
so-
a big building.
It's a pretty big property
Yeah.
there.
The zoning ordinance may not address it, and so now, when it's discovered what this use is, now the township is having to address something which is not within its zoning ordinance, which presents a problem for the municipality.
Right.
Because now this is sort of in limbo, so the municipality says, no, even though it doesn't say it explicitly, you're covered as a conditional use, you have to do all of these things in order to meet, or to get a conditional use permit.
So-
The owner, on the other hand, or the operator says, no, wait a second, your zoning ordinance doesn't provide for that. That we're permitted as a commercial use or whatever it is within this particular
It sounds like a
district.
match made in a
For a
courtroom.
lawyer's heaven, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So
lawyers
what's the
match made in
process
heaven.
then? They go to the planning commission.
Yeah, I think under that township ordinance, it's the planning commission, or maybe the township board itself that has the.
You'll go to the
ability-
planning and then
and
the
Then
full
the
board.
board.
the-
Okay.
To the board, and then they'll either go thumbs up, thumbs down. If they go thumbs down, you've exhausted your administrative remedies, and then you go to the circuit court. And then
Got it.
whoever loses at the circuit court files an application for leave to appeal to the Court of Appeals.
Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's
Because I
very
believe there's
interesting.
been an investment into the property.
Has there already?
Yeah,
And where is this located?
it's on Spring Arbor Road,
Okay.
okay,
At
up
60.
toward M60,
So you would consider it the corner of M60 and Spring Arbor Road.
west side of Spring Arbor
It's
Road.
West
across,
side of
it's
Spring
kitty
or
corner
across
from
from,
Hickory Hills Golf Course.
Kind of, yeah.
No, it
But
is.
there's a church right up there, right?
Well, Redeemer Lutheran
Yeah.
is down the road on the other side of the street,
Okay,
but
right.
that's more across from the Gantons
Okay. And then you
entrance to
got the
their
Gantons.
condos.
You got one of the Ganton facilities right on the corner.
But they're I'm pretty sure they're more than 300 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Are you
plenty.
talking about McCain
And
and?
Loma Christie's
no.
at least a
You're
half a
talking about Spring
mile,
Arbor.
a
Spring
mile
Arbor.
away.
Out past, what's the north-south of that?
That's
Nobody cares.
Robinson Road.
Yeah, Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so it's beyond Robinson, it's
Yeah.
west of Robinson.
We're out of
Road.
time. Are you selling anything?
Yeah, real quick.
Interesting
The
conversation.
Activate
Yeah.
Jackson. Go to activatejackson.com. We're taking ideas for placemaking for downtown up through tomorrow, and then at the end of the day tomorrow, we're gonna start looking at what's out there and what can be done, and then we'll have the next portion of our placemaking that's gonna be worked on and in place by May 9th. So it's a quick process. There's $10,000 of grant money out there
To spend.
to spend for this act, and go to activatejackson.com. Some nice property to buy. I went to the home builder show this weekend. There were a lot of great vendors out there.
Yeah.
So it's time to buy. There's 2 lots on Mulligan Drive that overlook the golf course at the country club. Lot 13 and 14 together, they're $30,000. You can do a nice property there. Lori Drive, 3128 Lori Drive is $124,900. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath in Western School District. 720 Griswold is a really cute cream puff of a house in the city with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, $84,900. And then a nice condo at Westbrook, 4647 Westbrook for $46,000, 2 bedrooms, 1.5
Do
bath.
I have
and
time for
that's-
one quick request?
And that's Western Schools.
Okay, I have one quick request. I'm a pilot. I lost my medical certificate. I had a hiccup in my health. I need a safety pilot to go flying with me. If anybody listening is either a pilot that has time in a retractable aircraft or knows somebody who's a pilot, I need badly a safety pilot to go flying with me. Thanks.
Call 780-3800.